Well, hello there. I don't know why the fuck I did that voice. Hello, yes, welcome back to Shooting the Shit with me, Ollie.
And I'm Rich.
Let's shoot some shit.
Can we just get to what was that accent that you're trying to do?
I don't know. I don't know what I was going with there. I just started. I felt I needed to say something and that just came out.
Okay.
It was pretty poor. So we move swiftly onwards.
I'm glad you can appreciate that point, my friend. But yeah, let's get on with the show.
Excellent, marvellous.
That was amazing. Cool. Right, that didn't make it awkward at all. But anyway, back to the point. Yeah, let's get on with the show.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. So not much has happened since...
Well, we only recorded very, very recently.
Yeah, but let's talk about some stuff that we should have talked about that we didn't talk about.
Alright then.
Let's do it now.
What did you have in mind?
Well, something I found funny on Saturday whilst I was hungover from, consuming too much alcohol on Friday.
That'll do it. That usually means on the hangover.
Was this video by a young, attractive blonde lady with pink hair called Nicole.
Sorry.
She has a bit of pink hair. Blonde lady with like little pink things. She made a little joke about something about she looks like Kesha. But then she was like, basically, you don't know whether this is like hair dye or semen. And I was just like, that's pretty funny. But it wasn't.
Wait, what? Hair dye or semen?
Yeah, because Kesha's a bit of a wild one, apparently. You know who Kesha is, the woman who did that TikTok.
Yeah, vaguely aware of that.
Or Dirty Bitch by Ty Cruz.
No, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, so basically she was doing this video about fat shaming. Or,
right, yeah.
Basically... It was a satirical video.
I've not actually watched the video. I've only read about.
It's a pretty good video. Like, I find it pretty recent. She basically talks about the different forms of discrimination, and basically she was saying that you've got racism, you've got sexism, you've got homophobia, I guess, because you've got discrimination against gay people. And she's saying basically obviously with gay people they've got a gay card and it's like nice and sparkly with like pink glitter and shit on it. It was a bit of a joke, but then she was saying there's like a new invented one which was fat shaming, and basically fat shaming is not a thing, but she was sort of trying to say if fat shaming is a thing, it's sort of helpful to large people because it's going to stimulate them to get into the gym, which, to be honest, I don't agree with discrimination against large people.
No.
If it's a health condition.
Okay.
But if you are...
How many people though actually have genetics as a cause? I feel like I should know this. I believe it's a very small single digit number. I'm probably wrong.
Yeah.
That's just something I heard back at university.
It's a big financial drain on the UK economy, I feel, though. Treating obese people.
Yeah, also sort of drunkenness.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not going to get into this because I don't want to be attacked by the people, because there's been a general mass backlash against this woman's speech. Like, people have basically said that it's not satire. It's just basically attacking large people.
We're surely expecting that in this day and
target.
age. I mean, if you say something that some people can construe as offensive, find offensive, then it's going to go out on Twitter and go out on, Tumblr and Facebook.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Basically, people said she's also been racist in the video because she was talking about,
race card, where she was talking about the groups having a card that could be, I guess,
a bit offensive. Also about the large people from gospel churches,
What is she?
They're generally quite big.
Oh, yeah.
And she's basically saying that she doesn't want them to die because obviously they're her favourite.
She said something about her favourite thing being
large.
This is all just what I've read, but sassy large black ladies in church dresses.
Yeah. But she did make a good point. It's sort of what she's trying to say.
That is perhaps slightly.
But satire, isn't it?
At least racial humour.
Well, it's just not satire in that case, is it? Because, it's not helping the black people change from being black.
Well, satire doesn't necessarily do that directly. It does it by making people think.
Yeah.
Often maybe a more, you can extrapolate what's been said to a more sort of...
Yeah. So
it affects the culture. That's what it does. It makes people think about their actions or consider situations and how absurd, reality is sometimes, or at least society.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. She basically she said quite an interesting point. She's saying, like, she used this analogy where you had like a Smartie, and you have like a whole bowl of Smarties. You take one Smartie because you're fat, but you crinkle one up and you basically crush it until it's dust. You blow it away. Right. You imagine that as a life. You've got a whole bowl of Smarties. There's still a load left, but you've destroyed that one Smartie. You've only got one life to live. Imagine your life as that Smartie. If you're killing yourself with diabetes, cardiovascular disease because it's clogging up and shit, it's ridiculous. You're killing yourself.
Sugar in the grave.
Exactly. So basically, she did have a good point, but...
I used to play bass for Sugar in the Grave.
Wait. But basically, what I feel is annoying is that we've got this culture of people being easily offended by stuff, People need to develop a thicker skin.
Well, no, they don't even have to do that, What someone finds offensive is, entirely... partially up to them in many cases, but also often involuntary.
Yeah.
But the thing is, your right to offend, your being offended shouldn't trump other people's rights. The world shouldn't be sanitized. Okay, I've not watched the videos, so I don't know, its value as satire. All I've done is read, articles about it. And I would agree, fat shaming is different.
Yeah.
Obviously. And there is there are movements that healthy at any size that say, big is beautiful, not just big is beautiful, which is fine if you, that's, what you find attractive.
Yeah.
But then to deny the health risks, I feel that maybe being obese should be treated no differently than if you smoke or if you have a drink problem.
Do you think
for a great many people it's not genetics.
Yeah, it's a choice.
Unless it's being altered by all the food they're eating somehow, like all the takeaway, I don't know, it's changing their genetics. But most, you don't have big bones. Most people don't have bad genes.
That's the thing that's one of the points she did make. She's just like, you're not fooling anyone, and like for someone who's blonde to be telling you like common sense, it's kind of saying something there. That's what she was saying there. It's just
she's not just blonde though, she's blonde and pink
with a bit of semen in her hair.
Oh wow.
But yeah, she was saying like basically, you can't fool human anatomy. Like no one's born with like massive bones that predisposes you to being large.
Well, it's probably possible, but at the same time, not every obese person.
Yeah. What you're saying, like obesity, that is like over 35% or something like that in the US. That's one of the figures I think she uses.
Like
I'm not sure.
60% of them are overweight.
Yeah.
To some degree.
But I think she did this nice gesture when she was saying like,
we're not brilliant here in the UK.
Yeah, there was a lot largely. There was
I think we're like the fattest country in like Western Europe, aren't we? Or all of Europe, I'm not sure.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. But there was a woman on a little digression here. There's a woman on this morning. Yesterday, apparently she punched Kate Hopkins because she was talking about the fact that like she's like, when you're going for jobs, that people are discriminating against someone who's larger even though they've got a similar,
I think I might have seen that clip.
Yeah, similar work experience, similar set of skills, but basically because you look obese then the person doesn't hire you. And she was using this example where the person who got given the job didn't have the experience necessary for it, and now she's sort of complaining to the employer saying, why did you give me this job? I clearly don't know what I'm doing.
Sorry, she did get a job.
She did get, no, not the large woman.
Okay.
The skinnier, more attractive woman.
Right.
In my eyes, she's more attractive. I'm not saying large people aren't attractive.
So you've lost me. Where's the skinny woman coming?
So the skinny woman went for the same job that the large woman went for.
Right.
But basically, because the other woman, well, what the large woman was saying is, because I'm large, I didn't get the job. Because people are going on these notions that because
she doesn't know that, does she?
She doesn't.
I mean, I don't know the person, so I can't judge based on their qualifications or the jobs they're going for.
But then obviously they had Katie Hopkins on there, my troll legend, my, you know, someone I aspire to be in the troll game, basically saying that, you know, if she's an employer herself, she wouldn't hire her because she doesn't look like the, you know, the pitch of health. You know,
or the go-getter.
You know what I mean? She did sort of make an aside, which I heard why she got punched, is that, like, basically, does her husband enjoy having sexual intercourse with her?
Jesus.
And she was sort of like, you know, he was just sort of like, no, Kate Hopkins didn't say this. This was Philip Schofield. But he was sort of, yeah.
Sorry, he said that in the middle of
I think something like that. Yeah, they were just like, do you have a good, like, sex life? And she was just like, yeah, like, basically, I'm sure he enjoys having a nice little bounce on me. But, you know, if you have, like, a nice trampoline there, I'm sure you will enjoy bouncing on it.
Christ.
Sorry, that was a bit harsh, but just thought I'd say it. But yeah, apparently Katie Hopkins said underneath her breath something about her fat and sweating, and she got a nice right or left hook connection to her nose.
I don't think I saw that clip.
I didn't see the punch. I read that she got punched, but I doubt this happens, as it's probably like media over-exaggerating and egging stuff.
Well, do you think it's right for someone based on their size to be
discriminated against?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily discriminate against. Well,
you've got to think about it this way. Like, as someone who's obese, they're likely to take, you know, they've got health problems associated with that. They're going to have, you know, some complications that are going to cause them to not be at work, maybe, you know. Well, so, you know, you're paying someone for being sick, risk. You know. So I'd rather have someone who's thinner, is more, you know, aesthetically pleasing to the work environment, because, you know, people work better in better working in surroundings. So I'd go for that person personally. Plus, I just don't want to look at it. Sorry.
No, just say what you're thinking, mate.
This is my opinion. I'm not saying that's right.
I could see why an employer might consider taking what would be more commonly seen as a more attractive figure in sort of a front of, you know, a face to face with a customer sort of role.
Yeah.
And like you said, there could be sort of health conditions, but that's a bit sort of, I mean, it's a bit presumptuous to assume.
It's a bit superficial.
I mean, I'm against all the healthy at any size stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm all big on that sort of judging each individual.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, if you're a very large business, I mean, how, you know, and you've got hundreds of applicants.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get a medical check for all of them? I suppose the bigger companies do medical checks. I'm stuck in academia until now, and
they don't do any medical checks there, do they?
No. Well, no, I have had a.
Sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard at that.
Yeah,
but
that's
I do.
Not really particularly amusing, mate. But
I do, because I'm not going to say that, because then I'm incriminating myself.
Plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth.
Fair enough. What was the point I was making?
I don't remember.
Oh, well, would you? So.
Oh, you want about?
Would you discriminate? Is that okay to discriminate based on perceived attractiveness for service roles? I mean, at the end of the day, an employer's just, you know, what's he got to base it on?
Well, you're going to want like a nice.
It's not just qualifications. At the end of the day, it's your ability to perform in a given position.
Let me put it to you this way now. You've got a gym. You know, a gym is supposed to promote healthy living, you know, a healthy lifestyle, a healthy appearance. You've got 2,000 applicants for this position as a receptionist at the gym. You've got
a very specific example, because at a gym you're going to want to hire people.
That's the point I was going to make. Like, do you want a large, round person in the gym on the reception? Well, I suppose you do, because you don't want them actually in the. Well, actually, no, you do want them in a gym. That's just like the point. Or do you want a nice, skinny, not skinny, but a nice, you know, well-proportioned woman?
More than anything, wouldn't you? You'd want someone who looks physically fit.
Let me give you another example now. New Look.
Yeah.
You've got sales assistants in New Look.
Yeah.
I've been in New Look. I've never seen a morbidly obese woman work in New Look. Like, you don't want like, do they even cater to the size in there?
Go for a certain image amongst their staff, it seems.
Exactly. Why do they do that though?
Dragged in there.
Because you know, you want to attract people to come in the shop to buy the clothes.
So they have to look and dress good.
Exactly. But if you went to a plus size shop, you can hire the large people because you want to attract the large people.
Look how good these really big trousers look on this really big man.
Exactly. They're nice and tight fitting.
I have had to try shopping in a large person shop before.
How did it feel?
Well, fine, because they didn't just cater to the obese, but also the incredibly tall, which you know I qualify as.
Well done.
Well, it's not an achievement, and if anything, it's a curse.
No, that's probably genetics, though. To an extent, you don't have an excuse over that, do you?
It's probably more sort of just access to lots of food, I guess. Growing up, I don't know. Like neither of my parents are particularly tall, although my brother is.
Yeah.
He's also tall. He's over 6 foot as well.
Yeah.
Incidentally, while I was in this place, it was a high and mighty store. But while I was there, there was a belt for obviously the larger gentleman.
Yeah.
About as long as I am.
Okay. Fucking hell.
With holes, just loads of holes, just
all around it.
Yo-yo, because I'm sure between meals it changes. You know, a couple of holes, but. Sorry, that was the thing in there that took me back the most.
Yeah.
Is seeing a belt longer than I am.
Yeah, that's absurd.
It is.
It's ridiculous.
Like I said, I'm pretty tall. Not bragging about it, but.
But my point was basically like, you've got to understand that in certain positions you need to be of a certain requirement.
Giddy.
You know, for, you know, obviously this doesn't transcend to like race and stuff, because then I don't believe that, you know, equates, and genders as well. I don't think that equates as well. You know,
well, you shouldn't discriminate. The thing is, again, obesity is largely due in the majority of cases to lifestyle choices.
Yeah, exactly.
Like smoking, drinking, drugs.
But the thing, the point that she made, and the thing is, like, these people are obese. Like, it means, as she put it in her words, you are putting yourself in a state where you are harming your own body through eating too much.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a live and let live guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're at peace with sort of your size, whatever it is, and it doesn't bother you, whatever health implications, whether you're too thin or too fat,
yeah,
but you're fine with it, then power to you.
Yeah.
But don't sort of bullshit yourself.
Yeah.
But, you know, certainly not that there's no health complications associated with being overweight, particularly obese. But as well,
what?
I've lost what I was saying.
Well, one thing I want to add to this is that today I was watching.
Come back to me. I'll just interrupt you.
That's fine. Go for it. There's another video that I was watching, basically a response, because it's promoted a lot of responses online, like YouTubers, like YouTube bloggers, and like podcasters and whatnot. So this woman called.
It got banned.
It got banned, taken on, and then it got reinstated again.
See, that's
YouTube caving to like pop pressure.
Well,
we shouldn't say that because we're on YouTube. So I apologise to people of YouTube.
Well, the thing is, you've got people who will just abuse the things that are there, whether it's hitting the spam button or whatever, or you know, in some cases people file false DMCAs. Yeah. You know, claiming falsely that it contains copyright material, which is a good way of obviously getting people kicked off YouTube and then silencing their voice. Their voice.
No, even if they don't have like loads of listeners.
The thing that annoys me as well about it, like us. Hi, both of you.
Yeah, we appreciate your continued support. Anyway, back to the point.
But the thing is, like, obviously a lot of people, they're saying this isn't satire.
Yeah. And
she says it's satire. I've not seen the video. I don't know what, you know.
I found it hilarious.
Take her at a word for now.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, remain neutral. But even if arguably hers was really bad satire or not satire, and I think it sets a dangerous precedent if you just
censor people.
Censor that, because then if someone then does say, you know, do a bit of risque satire, and it's the same pressure, and YouTube's done it before, so or whatever video hosting service or audio hosting service, they've done it before. You know, there's less risk for them doing it again. Yeah. And there's sort of a precedent and an expectation. But obviously in this case it looks like, because it's been reinstated, that I would assume someone's falsely gone after it.
Yeah.
And then they've reinstated the video after an appeal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're, you know, pretty good at reviewing these sorts of things.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to what I was going to say is that this woman called Megan Tonjes, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Well, she's a YouTube sort of blogger, I guess, and she basically she gave a very impassioned and emotional speech that actually pulled at my heartstrings. So I felt sorry for her. But basically, she came out with basically that. I've said basically a lot. I just did it again. But anyway, what she said was that women struggle with body image. Yeah. Yeah. And that she believes that this video reflects a lazy mindset of individuals that's a sort of, you know, in essence trolling, but it's sort of trolling wrapped in a privileged state.
Fuck.
And she said it's easy to go after fat people, but what the people who are doing this are not seeing is that there's other issues behind what has made that person fat. We don't know what's going on in that person's life. We don't understand that relationship.
No, but again, this comes back to the point of
them and that body. That's causing
it's a subjective experience, and your offence doesn't mean that someone shouldn't have the right to voice their opinion or, you know, satirise a point.
But she's also gone into this fact where, like, she's talking about.
Is this woman a known satirist? I should have asked this at the beginning, but does
I don't know. I think she posts a load of random videos. She's on Instagram. She does a load of stuff. I think she's actually a comedian. Actually, like to an extent.
She actually a comedian, mate. Actually,
she might be. I can quickly search if you want me to find out.
No, that's fine. I'm gonna take your word for it. Seeing as she's.
I know she's damn hot though. I just try and smush.
Classy.
Yeah, but anyway, she basically came out as well with another defense, talking about magazines, saying like we're already living in this sort of era where we're censoring and trying to promote this body image that you have to be a certain size. So you've got these magazines with like the celebrities that are sort of hiding, you know, the blemishes and making them look perfect. But yeah, basically she started crying and saying like it's not often that she gets like this, but you know, she comes on here to sort of, you know, that was sort of her way to escape. Like she was bullied at school, but this is a way that she expresses herself, and she feels that that there's more people out here that are like what this Nicole Arbour is like, is sort of damaging to individuals that are, you know, plus sized. But she also goes on to state now, because she's saying for all those people that support the notion that, you know, shaming someone's going to cause them to like lose weight.
Well, she's saying in some cases it will.
That's the thing, that she's had loads of, like, Nicole Arbour has had a lot of people like writing to her saying thank you, you've helped me get off my arse and go to the gym.
Well, I mean, that's the style of a lot of personal trainers. You know, that's basically what a personal trainer is it's kicking the arse.
Yeah.
You know, it's someone who's, you know, riding you, making you work hard.
Yeah. Just imagine it as if, like, do you know, like, you have like a electric shock in a car attached to it, like to the handles, and someone keeps trying to get into their car.
Right.
Eventually you're going to get pissed off with trying to get into your car, because you won't be able to get into your car, because obviously, like, when you're trying to turn the key in, it's shocking you, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So my point is that you're not going to drive anymore. You're going to use your feet and like run and shit and go to the places and like lose weight by doing this. That's a really poor analogy. I even acknowledge that's poor. It's really shit.
I don't know what you're going for.
What I'm trying to say is that is a good thing what she did.
Well, I mean, if it weren't satire and she was trying to give people or if it was satire and she was doing it to give people a kick in the arse, then I wouldn't say it's necessarily good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I said, some people will respond to that.
Yeah.
You said people have sent messages. I don't know if that's real or not, but you know, for some people it'll work. And then at the end of the day, sort of, if you don't like it, don't watch it. I mean, what was the video called in the first place?
I think it was something about fat shaming. I can't remember what it was.
Well, if that sort of material is going to offend you, I mean, if it
said fat shaming, you know.
I guess, you know, they might have thought it was a discussion about the nature of fat shaming in this, you know, but just stop the video. I don't know, it's just YouTube. Don't let YouTube dictate, you know, your feelings to you. I mean, for fuck's sake.
Well, that woman as well, she also said basically that obviously she, like, you'll have 5 people that will go to the gym, but then you'll have 5 other people that will sinking into themselves, you know, becoming more reclusive. There's a joke in that from what she said.
I thought that's what she was.
No, but this is a large woman that said this. Sorry, like Megan Tonjes.
Oh, sorry, this is the...
Yeah, she's the one who said that you'll have 5 other people. But then that comes to the point of whether like your mindset and your, you know, your viewpoint, like whether you're a glass half full or, you know,
I guess so.
A glass half empty.
Just don't watch the content.
Yeah. I'd rather have 5 people go to the gym and another 5 people, you know, sink into themselves, because at least you're getting 50% of the large people.
We don't give these sorts of considerations to sort of smokers or drinkers or, you know.
But do you think like people who are large have this like, they're having this like protected, you know, they're protecting, how to put it? They're not protecting, they're like preventing satire, you know, like they're a group that you can't attack.
There's lots of people who are particularly sensitive and don't like jokes.
Yeah. People can take the piss out of meth addicts and that's, you know, right? You know, people can take the piss out of drug addiction, that's right. Why can you not take the piss out of people that are fat?
It's a lot easier as well, I'd
with
say
drug addiction,
a lot less stigma around taking the piss out of a drug addict.
Yeah. I don't get that. And I think, you know, I can see why, like, it might not actually be your fault why you're a drug addict. You know, you might be sold into the sex trade. Someone might give you drugs, you know, to dull the pain that you're having to have, you know.
Well, again,
emotionless
sex
with someone.
Would be if society addressed the actual roots of the problem instead of trying to, you know, just combat the symptoms. Go for the actual source of the symptoms.
Yeah.
For the disease that infects our society.
Yeah, but I don't know where to stand on that. I just feel that people are being way oversensitive and should just allow the woman to do what she wants to do.
Well, satire or not, it shouldn't be banned.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you are outraged and it makes you feel better to go out on Twitter or your blog or whatever, or in this case an article for an online publication, then, you know, go ahead. That's wonderful. That's sort of the free marketplace of ideas that the internet should be. And then if you're gonna, you know, you disagree and you put out your thoughts like that woman did, which whether or not you agree with them, at least, you know, she wrote something, she made her arguments. That's fine, that's great, that should be encouraged, and then sort of the best ideas will go on through natural selection to propagate. Yeah. And be one with the world. If they're yours, you know, you're winning. You're winning. If you're not, you lose them. Yeah. Look at that. Right, should we move on from the fat shaming thing? Yeah. Unless you want to carry on talking about fat shaming. I mean, we've probably been a bit heavy on the fat shaming. We went deep. That wasn't a weight-based pun there. Right, so one thing that I've been outraged from, look at that, is basically the... Again. Oh shit, I need to stop saying that. There's recent comments on Idris Elba being James Bond. By, is it Anthony Horowitz? Yeah, he's the new author to take charge of the James Bond legacy. But basically... Is James Bond... I mean, is he still intellectual property? It's not like Sherlock Holmes where just anyone can write about James Bond. I mean, is he now not so much a part of the sort of culture, you know, Western culture that sort of... He's just almost public use. I mean, I don't know. Is he still? I think so. Really? I don't know. Well, obviously not. If there's an official author. Yeah. Well, I think you have to. Yeah. But anyway, that's the point. I was reading a recent Guardian article, because obviously Anthony Horowitz came out and basically said that he doesn't think Idris Elba should be the next James Bond because he thinks that he's too street. Yeah. But basically, there's been a rising incidence of people in, I wouldn't say privileged positions, but people using choice words that they maybe shouldn't have used and should have thought about it before they open their bloody mouth. And then coming out with these poor apologies and sort of acting as if that they made a mistake. It's sort of like they just had a bad choice of words. An insincere apology, basically. Yeah. Just to cover their asses because there's been public reaction. Yeah. So Rebecca Cowell's the author of this, newspaper article, and basically she, in the sort of byline at the top, she sort of says
The year has been a succession of white celebrities making racist remarks and then offering abject apologies, yet they don't seem to realise that inequality is about more than a poor choice of words.
Right. Inequality is more than a poor...
Yeah, I didn't get that.
That seems like almost a patronising... I don't know, I'm not even sure what that really means.
Nor do I. I mean,
obviously it's more than a poor choice of words.
I think her intentions were good, but she should have got someone like myself or you who is probably slightly more intelligent and can articulate some really good arguments here. But
we'll see about that.
But basically, Anthony Horowitz, after having his, backlash of him saying that Idris Elba shouldn't be a...
This was in an interview. Which publication was that in? Was that also The Guardian?
It might have been, I don't know.
I didn't actually read you.
Yeah, nor did I. But basically, what he came out with saying, it was... clumsily, I chose the word street. Because he said he was too street, as Elba's gritty portrayal of DCI John Luther was in my mind, but I admit it was a poor choice of words. I am mortified to have caused offence.
Well, I mean, it sounds at least like it could be legitimate, but whether or not it is, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I find it hard to believe the race didn't play a role in his choice of words.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but it seems, like Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
He was in Layer Cake. He was a gangster.
Yeah.
And he's played a much grittier Bond.
Yeah.
In grittier films since he took the role. So I don't know. Would you not describe him as street? I mean,
don't know.
He's played gangster roles. I mean, essentially,
what Anthony was doing was, instead of trying to say that Idris Elba's black, he just changed.
So you think it was?
I think he was being racist or prejudiced.
I think his choice of words was probably at least in part inspired by race.
This reminds me of. Do you remember when England hosted the Olympic Games?
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
It was Danny Boyle. Was it Danny Boyle who directed that? The whole thing. Yeah. So basically, there was a segment in there, and I think basically, to cut a long story short, there was an interracial couple, and a lot of people got pissed off about this, saying like basically that doesn't reflect what is happening in our society today. Like, they were offended by the fact that there was an interracial relationship, like a couple on that thing.
Interracial relationship.
So black and a white.
Commonplace.
That's my point. Like, people.
Wait, who was complaining about this?
There's a lot of people that were upset about this. There were people writing into newspapers and basically being upset that there was this shown, and this was shown out to the whole world that this is happening in the UK.
But it is on a large scale.
Yeah. My point is that we need to reflect what is happening in our media. What is happening like in everyday life, in our media and our art and everything. So
the artist shouldn't be obliged to.
Fair, but what I'm saying is, like, why should James Bond not be black? Like, what we need to remember is that it was written in a time. No, he's just a fictional character. No,
I agree.
It was written in a time where obviously black people weren't in a great position. Yeah, so like, obviously he wasn't gonna be like, people weren't gonna read about some black guy who was running around like doing a load of espionage.
Well, not just that, but at the time, I don't imagine there were many black members of the Secret Service.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say now is, why shouldn't he be black? Like, we should be making.
Well, no, I agree.
We should be desensitizing people. From this whole, this person's black, this person's white. Why can't he be black? Why can't we change that character? And then people be like, oh shit, he's a black man. There's no difference between him and Daniel Craig, apart from the fact that there's a little bit of melanin.
Oh, I guess it depends how you do it, because just changing the race of an already existing character or the gender or whatever, just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it, but it just seems slightly lazy writing to me. Okay. When you could be creating
new pieces of art.
But then at the same time, like you said, it's a fictional character.
Yeah.
It would be, at the time, no, Bond wouldn't have been. It would likely have been white.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're going to set Bond films in the modern era, then I don't see any reason why you wouldn't reflect.
Yeah, the time.
The time.
And to be honest, I'm not saying just because he's, you know, people are still having, you know, prejudiced thoughts and stuff. But if his acting chops are to the standard where he should be, you know, employed for that position,
which they are, he's a great actor. Which is
give
what
him the
this
job.
guy seems to have forgotten when he says he's too street.
Yeah.
He's street when you need him to be.
Yeah. He's acting.
And that's an act.
Yeah. He's essentially doing what the description of his job is, you know.
I mean, what else has he been in? He was in...
He's in Thor.
Oh, yeah, because there was...
The Wire.
Yeah, no, I loved him in The Wire. But Thor, there was a backlash about him being playing a Norse god.
Yeah.
Norse deity.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I mean, they argue that, you know, the portrayal is not consistent with true Norse history.
Okay.
Questionably, but at the same time, this isn't an accurate depiction.
It's based on a comic
of
book.
Northern European religion from, you know, the oldie days.
Yeah. So then, Thor, who is an Australian actor, surely he shouldn't be playing...
Well, yeah, unless you're going to cast entirely Scandinavians.
It makes no sense.
It's, you know, it's bollocks. But then again, it's not, like I said, an accurate depiction of Norse mythology. It's not meant to be. But, you know, that's not a street role either, is it?
No.
You know, being a god in a Marvel film. And
exactly.
Let's talk about the streets of Valhalla.
Fair. But it comes to the point that with this, I don't like how these individuals are allowed to get away with just saying, oh, I'm sorry. Like, they need to be made an example of. Like, I don't like how...
Well, what do you mean by an example of? Like,
people should
public sphere reacted.
People should stop reading his freaking books.
Well, that's their choice. They can do that. And if people want to organise boycotts and that... boycotts?
Yeah.
Oh dear, cocks on the brain. Boycotts, then that's their decision. But at the end of the day, he should still be, you know, what can you actually do to him other than make the decision whether or not you want to
I think
buy his work.
One thing I've always got... I like to say is that...
You can't stop him writing.
Yeah, fair. Is that...
You can't... What are you going to do? Fine him?
If you're going to be racist or say a racial comment...
We don't know if he was being racist. I don't know the bloke.
Yeah. But if you're going to do that, have some convictions. Stick to it. No? Don't try and bullshit your way out of it now.
It was genuine. We don't know the bloke, like I said.
Okay.
I mean... Like I said, I think there was probably a racial element to why he chose the word street, but, you know...
So if we had Clive Owen, I guess he's not too street.
I don't know.
Yeah?
Probably.
Cool. Right, I'm going to stop hating on him because I feel like I'm launching a public attack on him.
Well, I mean, the point in general that she makes, I guess, you know, her intentions were...
Yeah.
When she does make the point that, a lot of these apologies are insincere, but like I say, I mean, what are you going to do about it? Like, boycott, fine. You know, post your opinion, that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't go out of your way to have it banned.
Yeah.
I mean, if other people want to buy it, then you can't, you know...
Stop them.
Just assume there's some sort of hateful bigot.
Yeah. Well, I suppose there's one case that has happened where I did think it wasn't that bad, which was the Kelly Osbourne one, which was linked to Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump was talking about Mexican immigrants and basically saying getting rid of them, sending them back, but then she was trying to take the piss out of him and take a sort of satire approach and basically be like, well, if we get rid of all these Mexicans and send them home, who's going to clean our cars? But then another person on The View, which is a show that she said this on, stopped her from adding to it, you know. But then she sort of apologized, saying, you know, I'm not a racist, I would never do that, and, you know, basically...
Well, she did do that. I mean, I'm not saying... I mean, obviously what she said was a joke.
It's poorly delivered.
Perhaps I'd not seen the clips. I don't know how she delivered it. But, you know, it sounds to me like...
Yeah.
Because the full joke was, who's going to wash a car? Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, I guess, maybe I'm, you know... being too trusting or, you know, presumptuous here. But my assumption would be she's sort of commenting on how they... you know, immigrants, legal or otherwise, in the US, They do a lot of jobs that a lot of people don't want to do for cheap. You know, and they spend money over there.
Exactly. So they're adding to the economy.
Illegal immigrants are unlikely to use, you know, the benefit system because they can't get.
And they don't want to get sent back.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no benefit to them there.
Well, there's no benefit to that, no, indeed.
Sorry. But one thing I was thinking as well, like with the people that, you know, clearly they're not doing it for satire, they're not like joking, they are being very insincere with their apologies, is that it's reflecting a state where, you know, we've gone past all these stages where there's racism. Well, we haven't gone past it, but, you know, where black people are in such a bad position where, you know, they have no rights, they can't vote and whatever. We've got, you know, to a level footing to an extent, but what can we do as a society to get rid of small-minded thoughts and words like that? That's a deep question, Ollie.
Well, I would say as well that Anthony Horowitz is like, what, 60?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that makes it.
Yeah. So you're saying he's a product of his time?
Well, I'm saying that, you know.
My mum's around that age and she's not a racist. And she's of an ethnic persuasion.
No, I didn't say that everyone that age is racist.
Okay.
I'm just saying that maybe if he's an older gentleman.
Yeah.
And his only experience of Idris Elba is, you know, in Luther, which, given what he writes about generally, i.e. like Bond, for a start, then that's the sort of thing he might have watched, whereas he probably won't have watched Thor, maybe.
Yeah. What about Nelson Mandela?
Oh, he was in that, yeah.
Yeah, he was Nelson Mandela.
Well, he was street, he did time.
But he was fighting for his people. He's a revolutionary.
Indeed.
Trying to affect change so the South Africans could interbreed, well, not interbreed, but
if they like,
you know, come together as one.
Indeed.
Yeah, apartheid was a shit time.
What a positive message to end on.
Yeah, I think we should end it there because I'm just going to say some offensive stuff. But yeah, it's been a good show.
Excellent. I've enjoyed shooting the shit with you, Richard.
Thank you. I think I've been a lot better in this one. I've been a lot deeper, you know, I'm showing my deeper side. We'll let, you know, the people decide. The comments decide. Cool. Anyway, we've been shooting the shit. I've been Ollie. And I've been Rich. And we'll see you later. That was a shit accent again.